Hi, and welcome to Mermaid Mode. This is episode 4, and I'm chatting to Nathalie from Big Blue Boards. Big Blue Boards started with an idea of creating a board that's made specifically for women, and they've recently pivoted into organizing kitesurfing trips with a female community in mind. So there's more to the story and a few other bits and pieces about kitesurfing that I certainly enjoy talking about very much. So without further ado, let's just dive in. Nathalie, welcome to Mermaid Mode. Really exciting having you here.
Thanks for having me.
The reason I wanted to talk to you today is many things. You're a kite surfer, or a brand representative. You organize kite trips for women, so you're all hands-on kite surfing women in this world. But I really wanted to start actually asking you about your personal journey into kite surfing. How did you find it? How did you discover? How did you end up here?
Yeah, I think I'm a good example of that kite surfing changes lives. So I started kite surfing back in 2011. A friend asked me if I want to join her and some friends to a trip to Egypt to do a kite surf course, and then I never heard about kite surfing before at this time, so I just had to Google it and check. Okay, what's this sport about? But I was a board sport enthusiast my whole life, so skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing. So this was the logical next step, let's say. And I went to Egypt. I did that course. I didn't have the talent for it from the beginning, so I would say the kite steering was okay and body drag and stuff, but I was struggling a lot to get on this fucking board and ride, because I just stopped myself with the board all the time, and it was really frustrating. And at the end of the holiday, I was able to go a bit back and forth, but not really calling myself a kite surfer yet. And I went back home, finished some education, and then I saw that this kite school is looking for somebody doing the back office at the kite station in Egypt. And I was just finishing my further education, and I said, okay, I'm 22 now. I'm off to Egypt for 1 year to work at the kite school in the back office, and to finally learn kite surfing like in a proper way. And yeah, it's all about the hours on the water, as we all know. So for sure, I had many hours on the water during this year, learned a lot. And after that, I actually went back to a normal office job. So kite surfing, I became a holiday kiter because landlocked in Switzerland. And kite surfing here was not allowed yet back in the days in the
Oh,
lakes.
wow.
And yeah, it was a bit of hassle and really frustrating to have only like 4 or 5 weeks a year. I'll spend all my free days on holidays for kiting. Yeah, it was really frustrating to not be able to kite after work like other people do when they live close to the sea. And in a holiday in 2017, I met Barbara. She was a digital nomad back in that time and working from Sri Lanka. And I was participating in a camp in Sri Lanka. Went for a holiday, and it was really like, okay, we knew each other since years, like this kind of connection. And she was my inspiration to go back home and become a digital nomad, to be able to kite after work. And she was working in marketing, so I went back home, checked how do I get into marketing and gonna leave my boring office job. And she was also the founder of Big Blue Boards, the first kiteboard brand from women for women back in the days. And she started the brand because she was struggling to find good kiteboards for adjusted to women needs. So she's not that tall. She was having a big, heavy board and not enough flex, really hard to jump with it, big, huge binding. So you lose the board all the time. And then she was working for another brand in marketing, in a kiteboard brand. And then she said, there's not much gear adjusted to women needs on the market back in 2017. And then she started to, okay, why not doing it ourselves? And then she started Big Blue Boards and asked me right away from the beginning when she started it, if I want to become an ambassador for the brand. And I was like, hell yeah, women empowerment. I'm absolutely up for it. And yeah, this is how the journey actually began. And then I started working a bit volunteering for social media for Big Blue Boards. And this is also how I ended up in social media marketing, what I'm doing now for a living as a freelancer. Yeah, then how many years it was till 2024 we produced the kiteboards for women, did different test events as well around the world, and have had so many ambassadors representing the brand. And our vision the vision was to make kiteboarding less competitive and more a community thing. And yeah, to empower women by providing them with the best gear. And as well, the message was that the right gear changed the sports. I mean, if you're riding with wrong equipment, no matter the sports, you're gonna limit yourself with progression. You're gonna be frustrated. I mean, I already listened to the podcast, the previous podcast with Sue Kay, who's a friend of mine as well. So I think she talked about it as well, that if you have the wrong gear, it's gonna limit your progression in a really effective way. And then we try to, let's say, educate a bit about this topic, because we saw so many girls riding with the wrong gear. And yeah, in 2024, after the pandemic, actually, it was the time where we shifted the brand from producing boards to doing kite camps only. So we started in 2022 with the kite camps, and then after the pandemic, it got really difficult to survive as a small brand, because I mean, we all financed this ourselves. And so we continued with what excites us the most, bringing people together and creating amazing experiences around the world, and creating communities. And last year I took over the company. So I started as an ambassador, a freelancer and co-owner. And now I'm basically the owner, and having some amazing hosts who also do some camps around the world in some destinations with me together. And yeah, that's where we are today.
Yeah, nice. And that comes across as actually from your socials as well. I really like that you're putting a lot of effort in education and producing shorts, but also you have some videos on the website. You have a guide in the PDF as well, telling girls on how to start kite surfing, but also what you should look into when you're choosing gear. That's really awesome. But
Yeah.
I want to talk more about the boards, more about the community, and all of these things. But I actually want to come back a little bit into your story, where you mentioned that you did one trip to Egypt, and then you decided, okay, I'm going to go back to Egypt, and I'm going to work in kite surfing industry. Like, what was your thought behind it? How did it even come up to you? What was your motivation behind actually, first of all, moving to Egypt for this, but also why did you like kite surfing so much?
That's a good question. I mean, I was always, as I said, a board sport enthusiast, and I was struggling so much to learn kite surfing. And when I left my 10 days of holiday, when we learned, I wasn't on a level yet that was enough, let's say, or felt like I'm a kite surfer. So I really wanted to pick it up like the whole way. So I wanted to be able to ride wherever I wanted, because when I saw people riding, they could go left and back and forward and and I was just like
Oh.
left and going downwind on the right, and then body dragging back to the right to go back to shore, and then doing the same circle again, walking back up. And it felt so frustrating when I left, and I really wanted to be a real kite surfer. And I knew it's gonna be impossible to learn this only by holidays in Switzerland. I wanted to have like a good base, let's say, and also be able to do some jumps. And but what I was really missing back in the days was also like a role model, a female role model, because when I started, this was the time of new school wake style kite surfing. All the competitions were about wake style. And this always felt more like wakeboarding to me. I mean, it basically is, but yeah, there was no really female role model by this time, because I thought, like, okay, when we would have had this community, this female community today, when I would have had this back in the days, if I would be even a better kiter today, because it would have pushed me to push in this year a bit, the level a bit more up. Because yeah, when I think back, okay, I left with some back rows and front rows, but I could have gone a bit more like further, I guess, if I would have had a good role model back in the days. Yeah.
For sure. It's actually funny because I went into my local library and I just searched for kite surfing just out of interest to see what they have kite surfing related. And I found 2 books by Kristin Boise. It's a German name. I'm butchering it completely. But she's one of the biggest superstars of kite surfing back in the days, and wake style kite surfing and actually wave kite surfing as well. And she actually has 2 books with these tricks in multiple pictures. I don't know if you've seen this. I
Yeah,
think
like
it's still a thing.
Trictionary book, this
Yes,
classic one, yeah.
exactly. And I don't remember this book being around actually back in the days. It's quite interesting, but it was a really cool thing to have. And then I guess you had progression videos as well on DVD. That was a thing. But you're also right, because it wasn't there wasn't really this big movement where girls kite together and get together and inspire each other as
No,
well on the
no,
water,
not at
right?
all. Never. It's amazing to see how, I mean, I'm kiting since 2011, so I really saw it from being I mean, depending on the spot today, you're still the only
Mm.
woman on the water. Don't get me wrong, but I saw the whole involvement of the female community in kite surfing, and this is always what we wanted to achieve also with Big Blue Boards. I mean, the major goal was before to create a kiteboard brand with kites and harness and bar, the whole spectrum. But I guess if you don't have a husband who owns a kite surf factory, a kite factory, it's a impossible thing to found, because I mean, it's a very niche.
Yeah.
If you want to market only in this niche, and the production costs are quite high for kites and
Right.
stuff. So but yeah, it's amazing to see also the competition level, how it evolved in the last years. It's insane. And you can definitely see the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can also segue into the gear, which is quite interesting. And what you're saying as well, also kind of to bring it back to Sue's interview, where she was saying that anyone can really start designing anything you want. Obviously, it depends on the volume, on the level, and how far it's going to get in the production, right? But just go and sew your own gear, or like put something together, try it out, pitch it to the brands, So when you joined Big Blue Boards, was it already the brand that was already producing something, or did you join on a concept level and you started developing the board?
No, Barb actually had already the first boards produced. So the first batch was already like on the market, let's say, but we were never in this range of, for example, like a duotone core. the big brands, where they order like 1,000 boards a year. And we produced actually in Europe, in the Czech Republic, because Barb is Czech, and it was really cool to have a local sourced factory, so it was not from China. But at some point, especially after the pandemic, like the market itself really changed. The market was a bit oversaturated with gear, which leaded also to higher, like let's say the production costs raised by, I don't know, like 60% after the pandemic.
Wow.
If you don't order 500 boards, where you don't get like the best prices, and also the shipping cost increased, everything went up. And at some point you have to decide, okay, does it really make sense to keep this alive? I mean, we started to a bit pioneering the awareness for women-specific gear. There was just, I think, Duotone with their Soleil board back in the days, the only one that really had a adjusted board, and not just, like Sue already said, pink and shrink like the brands did before.
Mm.
And after some years, I mean, the brands got it. Most brands also have smaller sized bindings nowadays. Not all, but a lot. And yeah, it was also a bit maybe our work with pioneering the kite gear or the board, especially in this way, was a bit maybe done, and leave it to the big brands and focus more on the community and what we're best at, like, yeah, bringing people together. And but it's a good thing. The boards still, I mean, they're still out there, right? People still riding it, and sometimes I get a message with a picture from a board, and two girls just met through our board, or even just our goodie bags we're giving away in the camps, because it's quite unique to have a board from us, because it doesn't exist anymore, and it's like an icebreaker, like I saw a girl also riding one of our boards somewhere in Egypt. I was like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Hey, where did you get that board from? and then you connect through our boards, and or just through our giveaway bag, which is actually great. So the boards have another, it's not just about improving your riding, it's also helping to find kite friends.
100%. Yeah. I actually have the same story where I have this board. It's actually this one. It's this is a cover on top of it, but it's this board over here, and it's about I think it's about 20 years old at this point.
Okay, yeah.
But it's made in Latvia. So I'm from Latvia, and this is a Latvian
Ah,
producer. It's called A Boards. They don't make boards forever anymore. And then I was on the beach the other day, maybe like 2 years ago, and here in Copenhagen. And there's this guy on another A-boards board. And I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, where did you get it? And he
Yeah.
bought it from somebody else who bought it from somebody else who bought it from somebody else. So it wasn't even from Latvia at all. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
randomly. But that's definitely a conversation starter. It's like,
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're right, because like the shrinking and pinking thing is like so true. I think there was Nash Alana. I can't remember if they
Yeah.
did the kites. They did the kites, but I don't remember if they did the board as well. But essentially, it was just like recolored. The Alana kite, I think it was just a pink version of Pivot, pretty much. And then the board was like no different either. And then there was a Slingshot did a specific board that was Karolina Winkowska's
Yes,
board.
right. Yeah, but it was definitely a wake style board, so quite heavy and stiff and wide. Yes, they had some, but because it was the style back in the days, nobody was
Exactly.
doing big air or just some old school tricks. Yeah, Toby Breuer style, but but not really the big air level we have today, where they went back from boots to straps. Yeah,
That's
and
I mean,
lighter
it's definitely
boards.
new. Exactly, because the kites also had to come to that level, right? Because previously everybody was on a sea kite, and there
Yeah.
wasn't much, unless you're Ruben Lenton, you're not really doing much of a big air on a sea kite in 50, 60 knot
Yeah.
weather, and the stormy weather. But you also had, I saw in pictures actually, I've completely missed it because I've been following you for a while, but I completely missed that you also had a surfboard,
Yes.
or the directional,
Yes.
rather. And is there any difference when you get a directional for like a female anatomy? What's the difference between the directional for female and for male anatomy?
Yeah, the thing was a bit more on the market. The sizes of the boards are quite long. I mean, this was also before they started doing all these noseless boards. So the boards were quite long, and the smallest sizes were often even too much volume or too long for female riders, like 160 tall. Like, let's say like that. So they were lacking a bit the smaller range. You
Mm.
had choose to make a custom board, and that was the thought behind, like also to have some range on the lower end for shorter girls. Because if you have a board that is too big, you have to have a very wide stance, so you lose stability, and it's really hard to turn the board. So that was the thought behind.
Mm.
It still is sometimes. Some brands have a really the average riders, let's say 180 80 kilo. So yeah, the lower sizes are still sometimes hard to find. So I got now, because we don't have the boards anymore, I got a custom board from Apple Tree, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay, aren't
And it
they?
it is the board that Katarina Eden developed with them. So it was also the board that is dedicated to female riders.
Yeah, exactly. Aren't they based in Sweden? I think
No,
they're.
they're Dutch.
Oh, they're Dutch. Ah,
They
okay.
produce
Yeah.
in Portugal, but they are
Mm.
Dutch. Yeah,
Okay, for some reason I always thought that they're in a Swedish brand. I think maybe because the Katarina
because
didn't
yeah,
live
because of
right in it.
Kata.
Yeah. We have them in our local shop, actually. It's quite a big brand here as well. Yeah, wow, nice. And I really like the designs of the boards were so nice with the flowers, but then you also didn't go into the traditional pink kind of like edition where you did the blue board, I think. It was like
The
blue with the
first
cream
the
color.
first ones were actually blue. We had a carbon layered board which was black, and then with gold or with blue. And then the other one was white and blue. And then the last edition was the Paradise edition that I actually designed, because
Mm,
I'm a huge fan of tropical flowers. And I actually did the design for the directional board, and then in our team we discussed, like, okay, actually this would be nice for twin tips too. And then, okay, let's do it. So we had the whole range at the end. Yeah.
it looks really good with white and the pink and the purple. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
it
not
looks
that
so
into
nice.
pink actually, but it just felt like it felt right with this combination. Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, I kind of embrace pink because I also feel that sometimes in adventure sports there's a bit of a prejudice towards liking pink as a girl because there's so few of us. We kind of tend to act like in a cool girl mode and thinking it's like, oh, I'm not gonna wear pink because I'm too cool. So in the way, I'm actually thinking it's maybe like even contradicting a little bit, or even cooler to embrace pink. You know, it's like, yeah, pink, and I can ride well, and I can do
Yeah,
everything you do in pink.
it's a good point, because the flowers, like the tropical flowers, they're supposed to be feminine but not girly. And I
Mm,
think we got it right. On the other hand, when I choose the colors of the camp t-shirts, we do always a camp t-shirt the girls can wear on the water. And I decided to actually, I think I will never go for a pink t-shirt, because I don't want to uh, fuel this prejudice of
mm,
girls camp, that it's like,
yeah.
oh, it's a girls camp and everybody's wearing pink. So I get your point absolutely, but I think for our camps, that's the reason why I don't choose a pink t-shirt. I don't want to just like nourish the prejudice that is out there already.
It's also a really good point. There's actually like a really good ad, and let's just say it's Eastern European ad, and it's about a sign that you can put in the back of a car, and it has a heeled shoe, like a high heel shoe, and it's an indicator that a woman is driving.
Ah.
You know, so it gives you that stigma. But the ad is actually about women who are doctors, who are astronauts, and they're kind of laughing. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put it on the side of a rocket. It's like, should I put like a high heel shoe while I'm like doing this like open heart surgery? And that's the whole point, you know. So you shouldn't have like a mark of that. And in that perspective, like I totally get it, because yes, if there's a bunch of girls or all wearing pink lycras on this like fun trip, it could be a bit of a stigma of like a bachelorette party or something going on,
Yeah.
which could also be like a really fun bachelorette party, to be honest. You all go kite surfing, why not? That's really fun. I think it's you also have the tagline at the end of some of the videos that says "kite like a woman." What do you think it means when you say that?
Yeah, we started this actually. It was the our like campaign for World's Women's Day, International Women's Day, some years ago, because I think women have their unique writing style, and we celebrate that. I mean, it doesn't have it. You don't need to be a pro. We are not pros, but professionally stoked about kiting, and yeah, it's in other sports. Sometimes they have this tagline like "ride like a girl," you know, and then we said like, yeah, but we say okay, kite like a woman is I think fits a bit more to our target audience than a girl, but yeah, I think it's women have another style than men in kiting, and it's worth to show it and celebrate it.
For sure. I think it's a also a really good way to get into the topic of community. And another video, you also make a point. I think you were still talking about making boards for women and making the big blue boards, and that the reason why you're making the boards is not just because there's no good sized board for a woman, but also because there should be more visibility for female riders with other brands, and it's also a form of an empowerment for women. Can you talk a little bit about this, because I think that was a really cool point to make, and I didn't think about it at all until I watched your video. Actually, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Which video was that?
Like, I don't really remember. I think no, I think it's actually the video where you say, "Why should do women need
Ah, yeah,
special
this was about
equipment?"
yeah, okay. This
Yeah,
was about this new kite brand from Harlem, actually Unica, that
mm,
is made
part of it. Yeah.
is part of it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, where to start?
Mm.
I mean, actually, it's not that deep. So I think it's when we talk about the different equipment you need for kiting, you can adjust different parts of it to women needs or smaller rider needs. I mean, at the end, if there's a guy also shorter and lighter,
Mm,
it doesn't matter anymore. And I think in for boards and also harness especially, but also the bar, like the bar throw, like short arms reaching the bar. So these are the things, the key things I would say that need to fit your anatomy to be able to do your hobby, like to be safe on the water, because at some point there's also a safety aspect if I cannot reach the deep hour anymore and just kiting standing upright because I cannot lean back because otherwise I cannot reach the bar anymore. But with the kites, I would say it's not about, like I said in the video, it's not about the gender. It's more about the riding style and level. So there are more like kites that are more beginner friendly or more for pro riders or for wake style, wave, big air, you name it. So I would say a good all-rounder kite fits, I would say 90% of the people. um, so yeah, I think there is not much difference between gender and it's just yeah, as I said, the right gear changed the sport. So Mm. But it's in our camps, we always have a part where we talk about kite gear. So we, as I said, we want to educate the girls about like that they have the knowledge about what they're using, and not just when I ask somebody, oh, what kite are you using, or what gear you kite with, and they say, oh, it's a blue one, or whatever, so that they know their gear and know the parts of it and know what aspects they can adjust to make them fitting for their level or for their needs. And we always have a equipment workshop during our camps to talk about this, because I think it's a really important thing if you're a kiter and if you want to be a confident kiter, that you know a thing or two about your gear.
100%. And I love the point that you're actually teaching this in your camps, because I think that's a really huge thing that's missing from like usual classes and courses that people take. When they just get in the water, you get to body drag, you get to do everything with the kite from the school, right? Which is also not adjusted to anybody. It's just like the standard kites that they give you, which is how you learn. And interesting if it actually changes people's perception of how they learn kite surfing. Like if you are a shorter rider, are you used to the fact that you can't reach the bar and it's really hard for you to learn and progress because the gear is not made for you, right?
Yeah, but in the kite school, they should pay attention to this. I mean, if you have a
Yeah,
shorter rider or children, you take a smaller kite and a bar with a shorter bar throw usually, or technically, I mean, with the seat harness, it brings everything closer to you naturally already. Um, I think as a beginner or in the school, if they pay a bit attention to it, it should be in a correct, like the correct setup and
mm,
beginner friendly. So, and after that, it's about testing. I mean, usually you buy the kites you learned with as a first brand, or sometimes the cheapest one.
that's
but
the
uh,
thing. Yeah.
but
Mm.
yeah, it's about testing different gears, especially the harness, I would say, especially for women. I always recommend to test the different harnesses we have during the camps, because we have different guests. They have different harnesses. We usually have 3 or 4 different female harnesses, or even like neutral harnesses in the camps. And if I see people having too big harness for them, that is like covering their shoulder blades, for example, that leads to limitation of rotation stuff, or even riding upwind, I really recommend to test it on the water. And in the camps, it's really great to have the opportunity to have this equipment here and test it right on the water. Because if you go in the shop and you have, it's a dry harness, you hang on this trainer bar and you lean a bit back, it doesn't really help you. And I would say the harness is one of the equipments that I also changed 4 or 5 times, like brand and model, because I didn't find the perfect harness that really fits. And it was always a bit of compromise, and you don't enjoy your sessions if your back hurts after a while, or if it's riding up because it's too big and you have it under your chin and all these things. I think everybody knows from us, from female kiters. And now I actually also got the harness from Ian that Sue talked about in your podcast, that is designed from a woman, and that really fits perfectly. But also, our shapes are different. You need to test it, what fits your size and body shape. It's very individual, but test it on the water.
Yeah, for sure. Now I need to test that iron harness, actually. Hearing maybe 5 times about it now, that you should try it. It's great. It's designed by a woman. But shapes is also something, yes, we talked with Sue about, because it's not just about designing for a female and not the stereotypical that women are smaller and lighter and everything. I'm actually quite heavy in terms of getting a board or something. And I actually learned, I'm riding north mostly, so I was looking for a north board. And I was trying to pick between Atmos Pro and Astra, which is their smaller rider board.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually quite interesting because I was thinking, what's a smaller rider in your definition?
Yeah.
Is it smaller in regards to a man or a smaller in regards to a woman, or is it like for kids? Then I started looking just on who rides Astra on socials. And it's mostly women who look smaller than me. And yeah, that was so confusing. But actually, then I Instagram messaged Nathalie Lambrecht, who's a writer for North. And I saw that she's riding Atmos Pro, and turns out that she's the same weight and the same height than me.
Okay.
And she was so nice and so gracious to actually tell me all about both of the boards and why I should get one or the other. So
Nice.
it was super helpful because we kind of have similar body shape, basically. So
yeah. That really helps. I mean, if you see a girl riding, having your size and weight approximately, and then you see her riding this and this, it's really a good starting point, and then test it yourself if it fits your riding. And it also depends where you ride. I mean, this is another aspect. The spot,
For sure.
the kite spot also makes a difference. Like, where do you kite? Do you kite in choppy waters or normally in flat lagoons or in the open ocean? So then, yeah, you have different things there, like the size of length of fins and stuff, or the board shape that you will feel differently in different spots.
For sure. I ended up going Atmos Pro actually because it's super choppy here in Denmark. So
Yeah, it's a bit less stiff, right? This one.
yeah,
Yeah, because
exactly.
I think the other board is quite heavy and stiff, and if you have choppy waters, your knees not gonna love you.
I know. I've been riding North Focus, which is a freestyle board for
Yeah.
the past
Yeah.
maybe 6 years or something like that. And
Wow.
the difference is day and night. Honestly, it's crazy. I've had 2 sessions so far on Atmos. It's crazy how different it is.
Yeah, especially the weight. I mean, mostly when we had our boards, we really made them a bit like lighter and more flexible. And yeah, as I said, back in the days, there was not much gear adjusted to smaller riders. And the girls were sometimes riding the boards of their dad or boyfriend. And, like, yeah, for sure, if you share the equipment, you cannot adjust the bindings all the time. But actually, you need 2 different boards. If your boyfriend is taller, much taller and heavier than you, you can share the kites, but everyone needs their own board, because this is going to be crucial for your progression, especially when it comes to jumping. So if you lift up a heavy board or a lighter board, you're going to feel the difference, and especially your belly muscles after the session.
Yeah. For sure. But this is actually also good invitation to talk about the fun of kite surfing, I guess, because it's something that you made as a point very early in the conversation, saying that you don't necessarily have to compete with each other, or progress towards doing mega loops and crazy board offs and whatever. You can just have like a really good time on the water. And sometimes it feels that in the kite community, it's not especially in the social kite community, the stigma is kind of like you have to progress, like you have to. There's no other point, because sometimes all you want to do, you just want to go up and down. I have some of my friends who now have kids and they don't kite so much, and all they want to do is just to get on the water for half an hour every now and then. And they're having a great time. But then sometimes there's a stigma that you come to the beach and you're just, you're just going up and down. Like, what are you doing here if you're not boosting, if you're not doing something cool? What's your take on this?
I think everyone had this point in their personal kite journey when they had this phases, like, let's say, when you go to the beach and you feel like you said, I want to learn this now, I want to learn this now. And this is my goal for this session. And if you're not reaching it or you're crashing all the time, you start getting frustrated. And at some point, I was also at this point where I didn't enjoy kiting anymore because I didn't progress. Like, I wanted to learn the board off since years, and then I started training, and I tried, and at some point you just get frustrated. And even if the wind was a bit shitty today or the sea had too much current, there was always something to blame. And I didn't enjoy kiting anymore because I put actually too much pressure on myself because I wasn't able to reach the goal. And sometimes I think it's better to just, yeah, go out there and just cruise around, do some basic stuff that you can do, but enjoy the session and not just putting too much pressure on, I need to progress and everybody's doing the dark slide now. Okay, I need to do it and stuff. Like, yeah, especially with social media, it's really hard these days. I mean, everybody's having this perfect Insta life and showing only the good shots. And I mean, pros tend to show us a bit more about their failures as well, but yeah, it's a long way, and we only see the 1% of it on social media, and I think this puts a lot of pressure on everybody.
Mm. I actually started noticing that a lot of times people post something, but they don't show the landing. So
Yeah.
if you want to nail a board off, just don't show the landing.
It's
The
not
board
a
is
board
off.
on, right? It's just a
Yeah.
board off. So
But I mean, it's such a good point because I think it's actually, I think uh, it's either Lorenzo Casati said it or something along the lines that was said where they were talking about experiencing all the different conditions and going kiting in any conditions and
yeah,
all the different spots. So you
yeah,
just have the experience of riding this. And as you say as well, after I heard this, sometimes I have such a crappy session because it's gusty.
yeah.
It's all over the place. There's too many people. There's too many idiots that don't know the way of
Right
the
away.
right way. Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, you're just not having a good time. But then, okay, what did I learn today? I learned how to go around the idiots. I learned how to show them that that's not your way, it's my way. I
Yeah.
learned how to handle gusts properly and worked on my core because of this. So it's just a matter of perspective, like that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't think about every kite session I have. Like, okay, today this was the moral of the story, whatever. But to become a confident kiter, and I mean, this is also one of our aspects in the kite camps to create confident kite women and to give them like, because it's not only about the riding back and forward and or to do this and this trick. It's about, as you said, to ride in different conditions and to know about, to have the knowledge about your gear and to have the knowledge about the sea or the wind and all. It's a whole bubble that creates this kite surfing industry. And yeah, you become a confident kiter if you can kite in low wind, in strong wind, gusty wind, with current, in flat water, whatever. Because in perfect wind, I always say everybody can kite in perfect wind,
Yeah,
you know.
in
But
Egypt
you
on the
need to
flat.
you need to experience the whole spectrum to be really a confident kiter and to, yeah, trust that you can handle any conditions. And
Mm.
yeah.
For sure. Have you ever considered doing some online calls and online courses for what you mentioned as well, like a wind theory or any current theory, something
No,
along those lines?
not specifically. I mean, there's already quite a lot out there. Actually, like trick-wise, I would say the Duotone Academy is really good. You know,
So
they have
good.
super good
Yes.
explanation. To be fair, it's filmed mostly in the Caribbean with a 14-meter kite with perfect flat water. You know, it's
Yeah.
this laboratory conditions that you normally don't get, but yeah, it's nice explained, and also the wind theory. I mean, if somebody wants to dive into this, especially if you do the IKO course like assistant or instructor course, you learn a lot about wind and water there as well. So I would say if somebody's really interested in these topics, do the assistant course or the instructor course, because you have a lot of theory about this in there, or just check on YouTube. But I think it's not in it's not a thing that I see doing, like to go in this direction, let's say for big blue boards.
Yeah.
It's a bit out of our space.
Yeah, for sure. I was just thinking, and by the way, Duotone Academy, I love their fitness program as well. Their abs exercises are
Mm.
just so good.
Oh yeah, they have this training as well. Because
Yeah.
I did a special board of training with Aaron from Switzerland. He has this app just dedicated to learn the
I have
board
it
now.
as well. Yeah, it's good.
And yeah, I give it a go, because I knew, okay, my issue to learn this trick are the lower belly muscles, like the core stability. And yeah, it really helped a lot to work on this. But duotone has also like a bit endurance and strength, like general strength exercises. It's a good overall app, absolutely.
I also like that you send out a newsletter, because I signed up for the newsletter as well. And you just talked about reformer Pilates, and I was like, yes,
Yeah, I'm a
I
Pilates girly
love
now.
it. Yeah. I think it's so good for kite surfing. It's amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, legs, core,
yeah,
everything, coordination, all of the movements, they're just so helpful. And your flexibility as well, because
yeah,
I mean, you have to
absolutely.
be quite flexible. And Aaron did an amazing program, but everything he said in that program was like, okay, I'm already doing this in Pilates. This is for people who don't do Pilates.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess most of the target audience there are guys, right? They
Yeah.
start sometimes
Yoga?
with the
No.
basics, especially when it comes to flexibility. No, I really had some lower back issues since years now, and I felt when I kite a lot, it got worse, because my muscles had so much tension. I first I thought it's the wrong harness, and then I
Uh-huh.
switched to this female specific harness from IM that already helped a lot. I mean, the wrong gear can really hurt at some point, and then I felt, okay, I'm really lacking of lower belly muscle stability, and my big back muscles will take over what is missing in the front. So, and then I had to go to massage all the time because it was just so painful. And then I started with Pilates twice a week in the beginning to really to get some basics done. And I'm really curious now to see, because I just started in last October, to see now in May how it will, like how I will perform on the water now with this better stability, and also how the trick will feel. Because if you have a strong core and you're having a good tension, you're way more stable in the air, and this will especially help for board off or board on. Yeah, really, really, I will keep you updated in the newsletter about it for sure.
Please do. I mean, I love reformer. This is I've
Yeah.
been also doing it for years, but I also lift, and I started lifting last year, and it's actually thanks to Zara as well, because she started posting about this, and I've always been intimidated to go to the gym and try it. And then she posted a full workout, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the darkest part of the gym. I'm gonna pick up the thing, and I'm gonna try to do what she's doing. And I've been in the gym for a year now, and I love it. And the difference you feel, like
Mm,
really, of how much edge you can hold after really doing all of these compression exercises,
yeah,
it's amazing, night and
yeah,
day,
yeah.
even on a shitty board.
Yeah, I did also like how was it, body pump before, where you have this
Yeah.
heavy lifting and stuff, but with it's like endurance training, and this really helps to get longer sessions and to not be completely fucked up the next day, especially like the regeneration. But strength training, I mean, whatever sports you do, and especially for women, especially when it gets like when you get older, like 50, 60, just keep up with the strength training. It will help you to stay fit all your life, and not only for kite surfing. But the base is really a strong core also for kiting. And this is the only thing I'm maybe gonna do like a let's tutorial or whatever, small mini course, because I felt when the guests come to our camps, most of them are completely absorbed by their job, daily life, and then you come to a kite camp, and sometimes I feel like they're not like prepared maybe mentally they're still in back in the office, or physically they didn't have time to prepare a bit. And it really also helps to enjoy a bit the kite sessions if you have a minimum amount of fitness. You don't have to be an athlete, you know, the sport is really for everybody, but it really helps to have a bit longer sessions and to have not this muscle pain at the end of the week, so you don't need another holiday to recover from the kite holiday. So
That's for
yeah.
sure. Nice. So what's next for you, Natalie? What are big plans for the next step for Big Blue Boards?
Well, now in 2 weeks, I'm going to be on board of our kite safari in Egypt, where we're going to cruise around the Red Sea, kiting behind lonely islands. Next stop is Tarifa, and then in the meantime, my co-host Birgit gonna host the Sardinia camp, and in September and October we're gonna have 2 trips to Brazil, which
Mm.
is also one of my favorite places next to Cape Town, I would say, because there's tropical warm and you can choose what kite conditions you want, and you're just going to choose the spot accordingly, and you have wind every day, which is an amazing spot. So recommendation for every kiter at this point. But yeah, I mean, business wise, I would say it would be great to open also some new locations. I mean, our core locations are Sardinia, Tarifa, Egypt, and then sometimes Brazil, or sometimes also Cape Town. But I would love to open up some new locations in the future, and also looking for some hosts. So if somebody's listening to this podcast and is like I would say, good intermediate kite surfer and can talk to people with some experienced local contacts and would like to host a Big Blue Boards camp, just get in touch with me.
That sounds fantastic. Hopefully they are. So maybe we'll pass it along the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. That's been delightful. Love this conversation. Just love talking about kite surfing all the time, you know?
It felt amazing because I was landlocked now in Switzerland since last October. I swapped my Cape Town holiday for a Japan powder trip snowboarding.
Mm.
So I'm really under kited now, and it felt so good to be back in my talk about my favorite topic.
Don't you have like a really good spot in Switzerland?
Yeah, we do have spots. The thing is, I don't like cold conditions, like
Mm.
where you need gloves and a hoodie and shoes and stuff. And my minimum, or where I kite, like cold water wise, is Cape Town. But there in the summer, the air is warm, so it's not like a northern freezing northerly wind and 5 degree in the water. That is the condition we have in Switzerland in winter. So in the summer, yeah, I might join for a session here, but I actually never really kited in Switzerland. Shame
No.
on me. Yeah.
If you're struggling with the board off in summer, in winter it's even worse because your
Yeah,
entire
no.
body is so cold. And
No, I'm not. If you go in these conditions, you're not gonna try things unless you have to because you're training for a competition or whatever.
That's the only spot you're kiting, basically, which is Copenhagen. So we're on an island on an island.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and the conditions are fantastic, and they're so great during the winter, and they're really, really good during the autumn. But it is, as you say, it's really cold, but it's actually quite refreshing to go out in cold water. You have an
Yeah.
incentive of not crashing.
Yeah, but actually Denmark is still one of the locations I could imagine to do a camp. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
maybe we can
yeah, yeah.
let's organize something. I know places to go.
Yeah. I mean, you have plenty, yeah, in Denmark. That's actually the good part to be on the island. You have on both sides good spots.
Yeah, for sure. And the West Coast is waves if you want. And then actually the places around Copenhagen, it's mostly flat. Like we have a lot of fantastic flat spots. The only problem is that we have a lot of rocks, like big boulders in the water. So a lot of places have them marked. Some of the places don't have them marked. But apart from that, we have fantastic places here to
Mm.
discover as well. So yeah,
Okay,
let's talk
then
maybe.
future Big Blue Boards camp in Denmark then.
There you go. Yeah, we don't have that many girls camps in here. Like every now and then, every now and once in the blue moon. So now we need something with the blue board. Funny, insert a joke in here.
Yeah, for the cold water sirens.
Yes, that's actually. Do you know that there is actually the organization called Cold Water Sirens?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because this was years ago. I had this format on social media back in the days. I think it's 5 years ago already, where I had this warm water mermaids or cold water siren. Because I know some girls, they will never go kiting in the north, and some really enjoy to be in the cold water, like northern Germany, Dutch coast, or Denmark. So they are cold water sirens. And but I didn't know that there's actually a brand about this.
It's Danish and German girls, I think, on the west coast of Denmark, and they have surfing education and surfing classes. I actually want to interview them when I'm going to go there in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can, get hold of them and interview them as well. A really good segue into that, you know. Speaking of cold water sirens, it's a fantastic name. Their logo is incredible. It's so good. It's a mermaid that kisses her own like tail. And half of the mermaid, the human part of it, is in the wetsuit. It's really
Nice. I have to
I'll send you the link. Yeah,
to see it on Insta afterwards. Yeah.
yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Nathalie. That's
Thank you,
great.
Sasha.
All right. Well, this was it. Thank you so much for listening. I think we ended up having just quite a great chat about kite surfing, and I certainly enjoyed it. So hopefully you did too. As usual, please share, comment, suggest some incredible women to talk to if you know any. And just give me a shout if you have any comments or feedback. So, see yous.